Alright, so let me just explain what we got here. So we've got an SRX 210 voice model. This is a prototype. We don't have the PIM installed, but there are going to be some PIM options. And basically what we have on the voice model are some fixed interfaces. So we have two FXS, foreign exchange station interfaces, and two FXO, foreign exchange office interfaces. So we've got PSTN connectivity here. This would be like your AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, whoever your local carrier is that you're going to get a dial tone through. And this is going to plug into your wall jack. So in these station interfaces, you could plug in analog phones or a fax machine. The only caveat with running a fax machine through here is that the G711 codec only supports faxing up to maybe like 2-3 pages, because after that it starts to get out of sync. There's some better codecs that are more bandwidth intensive. G711 uses about 100K, and with all the IP frame and Ethernet information on the attached onto the PCP information. And so we also have these analog phones that are instead plugged into these interfaces. So we have two analog phones. You could do that. And what's great here is that you can actually use these analog phones to call one another. Okay, and the call processing is handled through the media gateway function here. Or you can call out to the PSTN if you lose your primary WAN connection. So you're normally when these make calls, the DSPs, the digital signal processor in here, is going to convert that analog call into SIP through the call processing engine. That's going to go out of your untrust interface here to your WAN. So that red cable is going over to an SRX 240 plugged in over there, and then you have your PSTN backup, which is this. This is going into your wall jack, and that's your dial tone, your backup, in case you lose your primary WAN connection out here. So we also have plugged into this box, there are 4 Ethernet interfaces here that we're using. 2 are for laptops, these two laptops out here, but then we've also got the other 2, which are these IP phones. So these 2 IP phones, they're different vendors. We've got an Avaya 1X phone, and we've also got a Snome 300 phone. And the cool thing about the Snome phones is that they integrate with Microsoft OCS, their Open Communications Server, which is awesome. You can import your buddy list and do all sorts of cool stuff. So essentially, we can demonstrate this. So we'll use the analog phone here, and we'll dial extension 9001, which is this guy right here, and this is extension 9002. So it rings, and you'll notice the caller ID is not showing up on either of these phones because we don't have batteries installed on them. There's a battery port here. Caller ID always takes a battery, and these don't have the batteries, so otherwise we'd see the caller ID. And you can set up names and stuff on the SRX that live on the box, which is cool. And then you can also make calls, from one of these guys to one of the analog phones. So I think we have it set up on the SRX, so this should work if we have a dialing plan set up. So we'll dial extension 9001, and it should ring through. So there it is. And then of course, so I'm dialing extension 9001, and it's ringing. And of course, I can pick up the phone and talk, and I can pick up the phone and you can hear me. So pretty cool. And you could do the same thing here. You can do IP to IP. So if we wanted to call this guy out here, this is extension 9004, so I can pick up this, and we'll do a speakerphone. So there it is, Muncie Cleaners. We set up Muncie Cleaners on that phone there. So the phone's ringing. You can customize your ringers and everything. It's pretty cool. And so there it is, says ringing. So all the call processing is handled through the media gateway functionality on the SRX. And we also have a 5th phone set up that we set up on one of these laptops, which is an IP soft phone that we set up, and it works very well. So we set up extension 9005 with the IP soft phone. So again, you can plug your laptop in, you can be on a Wi-Fi, you could be using your iPhone, and you basically connect directly to it, make a call to any other extension, and it's all handled by the call processing done here. So how does this all work? Where's this all going? So obviously we have backup connectivity here. So your IP phones are kind of dead in the water. at least some of them. It depends on how many you have. If you lose your primary WAN connection, then you're at the mercy of how many DSP resources you have on the SRX. Otherwise, you have analog phones that also have basic, dial tone, and you can get out on this PSTN connection here. So again, the red cable is going over to the SRX, and then where is this going, right? Because this is going to a wall jack. Well, actually, we're trunking that over to this SRX 240. And sort of making our own makeshift, trunk, SIP trunk or whatever you want to call it, out to the 240 over here. So this SRX 240 it's a voice model, so on the back we have 4 fixed ports down there. So we have got our FXS, our station ports, and there's a couple phones plugged in there, and then we've got our FXO. And these FXO ports are the office ports, foreign exchange office, so these are going to the wall jack. We've got the white cable here that's plugged into the wall jack right there, and that's giving us dial tone out to, outside calling, so we can actually call outside, or we could be inside and call, or outside and call in. And then we have all the SRX WAN connections going here. So imagine these just connecting into, the service provider from all of your branch offices, and then you have one connection on this box, like a T1 or a DS3 or whatever, an OC3, and that's your WAN connectivity to all the branch offices. And then you have your FXS, FXO interfaces here. So we have some FXS, or FXO, I should say, interface cards, and we're trunking everything to, these are all the PSTN connections going out to all of the SRX branch units. So we have sort of a phony PSTN connectivity out to all these SRXs here. So there's our PSTN connectivity going out to one of those FXS interfaces. And then there's another SNOME phone. We can see the SNOME 820. It's a high-end model, and you can import your buddy list right from Microsoft Open Communication Server, which is really cool. Now the other cool thing we have is an auto attendant that actually lives, the WAV files actually live in a directory on the SRX. So if I do speakerphone here, and I dial 9000, which is like dialing a main number, for example, I should hit the auto attendant. Sorry, 8000, which is the headquarters main line, and we should hear the auto attendant.
You've reached the automated attendant. Please enter your party's extension or press 1 to reach voicemail.
So now I could enter an extension number for someone at the branch office, so I can do 8004 or 8001, let's say. 8002 will do. So now when I dial 8002, it's actually going outside this branch office here, and it's going over to this branch office where we have another SRX, and it's routing that call. So that call is being routed there, and it's going back up to this SRX 240 where we have a call server set up, and it's actually routing me out to this other branch office through the headquarters there. The headquarters is telling this guy, route this way, and it routes me over here. So pretty cool stuff. So the automated attendant, and then you also have voicemail attendant and other things. And if all circuits are busy, you get a circuit busy message, and it's that standard woman, voice. So it's pretty cool.